Jason Preble.
All right, then let's get this puppy rolling. What do you guys say? Hi, good afternoon, good evening, or morning, as the case may be. This is Richard Waite. Glad to be here talking about Jason Pribble Auto Sports. And by the time you see this, he could have landed across the pond and getting ready to, take over the United Kingdom. And we wish him all the luck. Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's good to be back. Excited for third episode now. So I'm liking this. I'm definitely want to keep this going. It's going to be a fun thing to do while I'm in the UK, kind of give updates as we go along and, you know, watch the story unfold.
You're going to be in a new country racing. Is there any difference racing in the United Kingdom compared to racing in the good old US of A?
When it comes to, I mean, all things racing, we just want to cross the line first. That's the first and most important thing I care about, at least. The format's going to be different from series to series, regardless of country. The style of racing is a little bit different, though. I know at least, a lot of people have watched Formula One, F2, F3, where there's a lot of blocking and a lot of swerving on the straightaways. We actually, in the racing world, at least in the US, we call that Euro swerving. And that's something I'm not particularly used to. So, in the US, blocking and stuff like that is pretty strict. It's one move and one move only. And if you do more than that, you could get disqualified. So that kind of style is going to be different. But apart from that, it's going to be, I find out when I get in the car for the first race.
And that should be pretty exciting, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it now. It's only a couple days till I finally get back into a car. It's been way too long, and I'm excited to finally get to race too. It's a long time coming, and the off season always just sucks for me.
So, what are you going to do about transportation over there? Do they have Uber? What are you going to do?
So interestingly enough, I have a driver's license in the US, obviously, and that is valid in the UK. So we are going to probably buy a nice cheap car. Car prices in the UK are fantastic. We can get stuff for, 1,000, 1,500 pounds that we would probably be spending $15,000 on in the US. So
What's
we'll
a thousand
probably,
pounds? What's £1,000 English? Or
it's probably 1,000 pounds, I think is maybe 1250
okay,
USD.
12,500. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So really, really good deal. I know a couple like the extra expenses are a little bit more pricey, but it definitely is cheaper to buy a car in the UK. So we'll be doing that. Hopefully we'll be able to sell it by the end of my trip and everything will all work out. If not, then we'll figure it out when we get there.
You have racing one day a week. What's going to be going on the rest of the time? Kicking back,
Uh,
playing games.
it's not going to be that different from what I'm dealing with now, at least. A lot of it is just, the only difference really is just I'm not racing right now. I'm spending time on the simulator, of course, but, it's going to be training as many days of the week as I can. Obviously giving myself enough rest, kind of exploring the town, exploring where I'm going to be living, and then just trying to get to races as much as possible. That's one of the reasons I'm here. That's one of the advantages of being in the UK is there's so many tracks in such a short distance, such a short radius, and I want to take advantage of that. So, when I'm not going to be racing, I'm going to be at the track.
So will you have your own individual mechanic team? Or will you be sharing with other team members?
I'm not entirely sure on the situation just yet. I know I'm going to have at least one mechanic on my car. It varies from team to team, especially with the size and number of cars. My team is going to be one team, and then we're having a technical alliance with a separate team. So it'll be me and one other driver sharing data, sharing setup advice, as well as the expertise from the other team on the engineer's side. So everyone's kind of going to be working together, and it'll essentially function as one, full team, as it were.
Have you thought about your diet when you get to the UK?
Yeah, I think my expectation is it's going to be a lot easier to eat and maintain weight as best I can in the UK than it is in the US. I think it's no secret that the US isn't the most healthy of places, and while the UK isn't that much better, it's certainly European food laws and things like that help out. So I imagine that food-wise, I'll be relatively good, keeping the same diet, just finding healthier options in some places where I wouldn't be able to get that in the US.
So as long as they have chicken, you're in.
Yeah, I'm big on the whole chicken and, high protein, low fat thing, especially for the season. I want to have as much muscle, but as little weight as possible. So that means, burning off as much fat as I can for the season.
And your dad's going to be with you for a couple of weeks too. I understand.
Yeah, he's coming for the first 2 weeks. His job has an office in London, which works out perfectly for us. And he'll be hanging out with me, helping, sort things out as much as we can. There's not going to be much to unpack for me, but it's more just, easing into a very new situation. So it's going to be really helpful to have him, and he'll get to meet Phil, he'll get to see my car, he'll get to see me race. All really important things that I'm glad he'll be able to do with me.
Super. And speaking of racing, do you have any racing superstitions? On the day of your races?
I don't really have any superstitions. I'm big on trying to make sure that I'm as mentally fit and mentally focused as possible. So I just try to do whatever gets me in my mindset, and a lot of the time that changes. The only habit I really have is, every time I'm gonna be racing that day, I'll have a cup of coffee at least 2 hours before I get into the car. It keeps me alert, keeps me focused, things like that.
What's the one thing you're looking most forward to? Aside, I'm sure, from getting back behind the wheel. What are you looking forward to?
There, it'll be fun for me to go to a new place and learn, about, European culture, things like that. But I can't get my mind off of anything but the racing right now. I'd love to give you a better answer than that, but frankly, I'm just thinking about the first time I'm gonna sit in that car.
You're
And
zoned in.
yeah, I mean, I'm a racing driver. Racing drivers, that's what we do. We can't live without racing, and that's all we think about. So, yeah.
Enjoy the time and enjoy the memories I'm sure that you'll make with your dad during those 2 weeks. And take care of yourself. Be healthy and be safe. I'm Richard Waite for Jason Cribble Auto Sports. Anything else you want to add, Jason?
I'm gonna ask you a question because I'm sure the audience has noticed at this point, but the room you've got behind you is quite interesting, and
Well,
I think I'd like to know more about it. I think everyone would, really.
the story is 16 years ago, 17 years ago, my wife and I, when we moved into this house, the the decor was the way that it was. Well, I was driving a school bus, and so all of this kind of fit in with my life. And then I've also got some minions because I collect minions. So there's a bunch of minions back there, probably some Cubs stuff, but it's like 78 years of a collection of a bunch of things. But it was already decorated when I got here, and I couldn't change it. It just kind of went with me. So that's my best shot that I'm giving you.
I think that covers it. It was a nice, thorough talk today. I liked it.
You have a good time, and everybody else have a good day.